I mean, I was just preparing myself to wrestle MJ. I knew the guy was tricky. I was just planning on just that happening. I was gonna wrestle 74. Just like I was like just getting myself ready and pumped up. And one thing that I think I do sometimes, what I do is I try to find motivation, like in these like things. And one day I was on the internet and I just happened to see. It's funny. I just happened to see something that Dresser said, and it said, I actually have my lock screen. I made it, like I said, I try to find motivation and stuff. And Dresser was talking about the 74 match between me and MJ, and it says Dresser said he's excited for that match. That guy better come ready. So that was my motivation, like heading into the weekend at Wrestling 74. And I was just like, oh, that was kind of like the prod to me. I was like, I'm ready. Like, the thing is with me, I'm always ready. I'm always ready to go. Like, you tell me to do X, Y, Z, I'm going to go do it. So that was what poked me a little bit, because I was like, oh yeah, like this is going to be a fun weekend. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to put some points on the board. I'm just ready to do what I do and just put the world on notice even more than I did the week before. So I was just getting ready for that, getting ready to get down my weight, just weight was coming down as planned. Getting ready. I want to say we left Saturday. Yeah, we left Saturday. Duels on Sunday. So Saturday, like I'm coming in, getting ready to do my final, weight cut, weight management, whatever the heck you want to call it, just to get down a little bit more, just so that way when we're going into our pre-weigh-in warm-up, I'm not as heavy, and usually I lose like 4 pounds in between that. So, I was just getting ready to do that, and Star was texting me. He's like, "Hey, before you get started with your workout, come talk to me, come see me." I'm like, "All right." So, get in the carver, go and shower real quick. I go to talk to Star. Me and Star are talking. I tell him my weight. He's like, "All right, that's good. I'm like, all right." And then, he's like, "All right, well, we're going into Tom's office." I'm like, "No, we're going into Tom's office." I'm like, what? I thought we were just talking. So, we're going to Tom's office, and Tom laid it out for me. He's like, "So." Tom tells me about the duel and stuff. Obviously, we know about the duel. And he's like, we were thinking about putting Kennedy at 74, you at 84. And he's like, he was like, this is what I think would be the best option for this duel, just for this duel. And I'm like, okay, like, yeah, let's do it. And Terry talks to me. He goes, as we're all in there, he goes, "So what's your hesitancy on going 84?" And I go, "There is none." I looked him dead in his eyes and I said, there's nothing. I'm not hesitant about it at all. He's like, "All right, well, that's that." So that was the decision to go 84. And that's honestly how I talk with. I think they were expecting it to be a little bit longer of a conversation, a little bit of convincing, but, I knew I wanted to wrestle in that duel. Why the heck wouldn't I? Like, it's just like, it's the freaking Iowa State duel. Like, so much history, like, goes behind that. It's just like, why wouldn't I want to wrestle in it? And if you guys are telling me, like, I don't know if I would have said, like, no, I want to stay 74. If I would have stayed 74, I don't know how that would have went. But, I mean, I was open to doing it. I was like, heck yeah, like, let's freaking do it, Get to wrestle Will Feldkamp, All-American last year, like, another tricky guy who's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve. I'm like, frick yeah, like, let's do it, So that was the decision to go 84, and, yeah, the rest is history, I guess you could say. So.
Wow. So now you have a short time, I don't know whether you game plan much or watch film or how you approach different opponents, or some guys approach everybody a little bit differently. Some guys approach everybody the same way. But did you know much about Feldkamp, that he was a tricky guy with not junk, but, different moves, if you will? And how did you get ready in that last day or day?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is with me, like, I watch so much wrestling already as it is. So, like, it was already, like, coaches said Will Feldkamp. I'm like, oh, okay. So, not really much of a change in game plan because Gaten's kind of a tricky guy. Feldkamp's kind of a tricky guy. I'm like, yeah, not much really changes, to be honest. So, that's the good thing is that, like, I've watched so much wrestling, so I already knew what this guy brought to the table.
Yeah.
So, I mean, me and Star watched a little bit. I knew he was a big 2-on-1 guy. I didn't want to let him hang there much. So yeah, I was like going into it. I already had this idea of what he did, so I didn't really have to change up a game plan or anything. More than anything, it was just sticking to my guns, staying solid, not getting out of position. That's what it came down to. And originally my plan at 74 was to just go out there and just onslaught of offense, just like break this guy. And the game plan changed a little bit just because I'm up a weight. I'm not the biggest 84. Hell, I'm not the biggest 74.
Yeah.
So like the game plan in my mind changed a little bit just because I was like, I'm just gonna go onslaught of offense. Now switched up a little bit to like we're gonna wrestle this match slow. We're gonna pick our spots right. We're gonna stay out of underhooks, stay out of 2-on-1s, stay out of overhooks, stay out of anything that favors this guy to where he can get into a position that he likes, do something tricky, put me on my back, staying solid, just stay to my guns. So the game plan changed there mentally. But so far as like the wrestling piece of it, nothing much changed. So
Okay, now like anybody who's ever wrestled in a duel, nobody's wrestled in a duel on ESPN in front of 15,000 people in I don't 82. I don't know if it's ever happened or right. You're on. This is a big deal, and everybody knows how big Iowa State is, and Iowa State's better than they've been in a long time. The rivalry's heated. The stands are full. The duel's crazy, right? You're what, match number 8, right?
yeah.
There's 3 or 4 wild ones before you. How do you just? I mean, you don't have to minute by minute, but like, explain to me the nerves of maybe walking into the building, seeing the crowd, the duel starts. There's last second calls, there's reviews, there's controversy. The one before you is really crazy. Kind of tell me your perspective of the duel and watching it and getting excited and involved, or some guys got to go sit in the locker room and not watch it all so they can just relax. Like, what was it like for you at that duel meet?
Yeah, so I think I kind of figured out like that piece of it the week before when we wrestled Oklahoma State, or not Oklahoma State, Oregon State.
Yeah.
So like obviously there wasn't as many fans, as there was. I don't think there was as there was at Iowa State. Obviously not. They were sold out. So I kind of figured out my way of getting ready for my match then. So for me, obviously, like I can't not watch my guys wrestle. Like this is my team. Like I don't want to not be there. So I watched 25, watched 33, watched 41. So same thing I did at Oregon State was obviously we were at home for Oregon State. So in between, I went into the wrestling room between 41 and 49. So that was when I did my pre-match warm up. Even before, so I get 2 warm-ups in usually. So that's when I did my pre-match warm-up. So I did that again. Obviously, I didn't warm up this time. But to just kind of take myself out of it a little bit, come out of the limelight a little bit, and just get ready, focused on my match, that's what I had to do. So I went back in for a little bit, focused myself down, cooled off my nerves, laid down for a little bit. And so I peeked in and out of the duel, went and saw the score, saw the guys wrestling, and all that. So thankfully, I had that Oregon State, just that preview of what I needed to do to get myself ready, just to know what I needed.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's super hard not to be involved. But one thing the coaches do really well of is that they remind us, stay in your match, stay in your match. It's like, don't get involved too much, just stay in your match. And it was hard, like you said, the 74 match. It was hard to stay in my match. Like
Crazy.
I'm sitting back there in the chair in the tunnel. Or not the tunnel, whatever the thing was that was over. I don't know. It was like, I guess you could call it tunnel. So I'm sitting in the chair, and like I hear the thing going crazy, and like I'm looking at the score. Like at the beginning, I'm watching PK do his thing, and just beat the piss out of this guy. I'm like, hell yeah! Like put the hammer on him. That third period get a little dicey, and like I'm over there trying to stay in my match, trying to stay cool and calm. I'm just like, okay, P, like what are we doing here, big dog? Like we need to do something. So it was just, like you said, it was really, really hard to stay in my match. But, I think I did a really good job. I just put my head down a little bit and just kind of let things, how that match transpire as it did. Thankfully we got the W. But I think so far as the crowd goes, nothing really changed. I think one thing that I do really well is that I could really care less of what people think about me or what people say about me. And obviously everyone has their own opinions about me and, things I've said in the past and how I act during matches and X, Y, Z and all this and the things I do during matches. I just really don't care what people think about me because at the end of the day, the only people's opinions that matter is God, my parents, and my coaches. That's all I care about. And my teammates as well. So if those opinions about me are positive, then, things are going well. So the outside view, what people think, I really don't care. And it's funny that people do think I do, and when they comment on my posts and stuff and everything else, they want to talk about this and this and this. It's just, I just really don't care more than anything, and then more than anything, it's just funny that people think I do, and I think it goes for a lot of athletes like that. That people think that we care, we don't. So it's just, it was one of those things that like I knew I was going into a hornet's nest already. I knew the crowd was going to be against me. I knew I was going to have 14,000 people against me. Maybe there was a few Hawk fans sprinkled in there. But a thing that really settled me was that I knew I had my mom, my dad, and my grandma there. So that really brought me back to earth a little bit. And just knowing I had my biggest support system there really just kept me at peace. And, it just made it really easy to perform and do what I do. So
When you wrestle matches, do you remember all of it? Do you black out? Is it somewhere in between? Like, do you remember the match?
I remember everything when I wrestle.
Everything.
Like I knew the time when I got the takedown. I think there was like 15 seconds left in the first period or something like that, 20 seconds left, somewhere in between there. I knew when I put him on his butt when I was about to get another takedown. I knew that. I knew when everyone thought I was thinking of stalling, when he was driving me out of bounds, but I don't think I ever went out of bounds one time that whole match. So yeah, I remember everything from the match. I remember getting hit for stalling, everything, every small little detail of the match.
Going into the match, and maybe you try not to think about this, or maybe you can't help it. I don't know, but did you realize or think like, man, the duel's gonna, if I don't win, the Hawks might not win? Was any of that in your head, or is it like, man, I just gotta focus on beating Feldkamp and I can't think about the rest of the stuff?
I mean, it obviously did cross my mind a little bit. I knew that me winning was going to be a big part of this duel, and the coaches wouldn't put me at 84 if they didn't think that.
Right.
So I knew that obviously Hawk fans had a lot of trust in me, coaches had a lot of trust in me, my teammates had a lot of trust in me. But knowing that the coaches thought that I would perform well at 84, that was another one of those things that just kept me at peace. So I got these guys who believe I can do it. So why the heck shouldn't I believe in myself that I can?
Yeah.
So, it made things really, really easy just to go out there and perform, like even with the whole crowd against me, like I knew I had these guys in my corner that were just like, we believe in this dude like full-heartedly that he's going to go out there and do his job. And I told my mom this, but I mean, to be honest, I didn't really think I was going to pull it off until I pulled it off.
Really?
So I didn't think I was going to. I was just like, all right, dude, kind of walk out. Like I think I do a really good job of just like training myself as like this big, like, oh, nothing phases me. But like, I don't know, I get the nerves a little bit, And like he came out. I remember he came out to Sweet Caroline and he comes out to the mat. I'm like, this guy's kind of big, not gonna lie, I'm like looking at myself. I'm like, I'm only 5'7". This is a little interesting, but all right, we're gonna do it. And the match starts, and then like you said, like all those stops is black. Second that first whistle goes, like nothing. I think about nothing besides just the match. That's it. So yeah, I didn't really think I was going to be able to pull it off, but I mean, I stuck to my guns and do what I do best and pull it off. So.
Yeah, man. At the end of the duel, right? Because you guys still got to win another match to seal it. What did that feel like right after the duel? The rest of the day, you guys probably drove back to Iowa City, but like the bus ride, getting home, like. It had to be on just kind of a high.
Yeah, we were all on a high, dude, and it was great. I mean, more than anything, and it's just funny because people tried to say that we chirped this year, and we didn't, honestly, because on paper this is Iowa State's best team on paper, and on paper this is our worst team on paper. On paper, right? So like it was just like we had everything against us. We had the suspensions from gambling, we had, Chittum leaving, just a lot of things that transpired over, the year that led up to this duel, and everyone thinking that we weren't going to do it. But at the end of the day, winners win, and I think the Hawkeyes are a bunch of winners, and Tom Brands is a winner, and Terry Brands is a winner, and Ryan Morningstar is a winner, and Bobby Telford's a winner, and up and down our lineup, we got a bunch of winners, and that's just what we love to do. We love to just be with each other and just win. And I think it was just great to say screw what everyone thinks on paper, screw what everyone else is saying on the internet, and go out there and just freaking win. And that's what we did. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't the most flashy thing in the world, but we won.
Yeah.
Did what we had to do. Everyone up and down the lineup, we stuck to the guns. Even though we lost some matches we probably shouldn't have, but we won. That was just it was just a super cool thing, and just because it was a team effort. Everyone did their job. And like I said, yeah, we had a few losses. That is what it is. That's just the sport. But everyone did their job, and we all battled, and it was just cool battling with those guys. Just I don't know, it was just a surreal experience just to go to war with those guys in like enemy territory, going into a hornet's nest. It was just great. And the bus ride back, the bus driver was honking the horn, as we're driving the bus that says Iowa Hawkeyes. He's honking the horn as we're heading out of the city, hitting the highway. Even as we're like leaving the arena, he's like blaring the horn. I'm like, dude, this is just awesome. So it was just a super cool experience, just getting to experience my first CyHawk duel. And, hopefully it's the first of, 4 or 5 or however many more I got left. I don't know, so